Hello, I'm Laura Penn, and welcome to Green Views, a talk show about green issues and green solutions, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. Globally, disasters, such as those caused by natural hazards like storms, floods, and earthquakes, extract an enormous toll in terms of human lives, destruction of crops and livelihoods, and economic losses. The United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Risk Reduction, or UNISDR, estimates that between the years of 2000 and 2012, some 1.2 million people lost their lives as a result of disasters. 2.6 billion people were affected, and the cost of the damage cost some $1.7 trillion US dollars. Today, disaster risk reduction is a critical part of sustainable development strategies. Here to talk to us about how nature can help to protect us from disasters is Radhika Murti. She is the Senior Program Coordinator for the Nature-Based Solutions Unit at the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, or IUCN. Radhika, welcome to Green Views.
Thank you, Laura.
What is ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction?
So ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction is the conservation, sustainable use, and importantly, restoration of nature so that it can help protect us from disasters, such as forests on a steep slope. They can help reduce the occurrences of landslides or wetlands. Wetlands can be very effective in helping absorb floodwaters. So understanding the role of nature beyond its conservation value in how it's able to protect us from disasters.
And why are we not investing more in nature as protection?
The last 10 years has we've seen some of the worst disasters for humanity. And it's this same last 10 years where much of the learning on this role of nature has come to light. So the scientific evidence as well as the understanding of this role of nature from the last 10 years really needs to reach decision makers of development, of disaster risk reduction much faster, and perhaps we could do a much better job at that. Secondly, we're not communicating the cost effectiveness and the multiple benefits of nature as a solution effectively. We need to ensure that decision makers understand that nature can be a very cost-effective solution. For example, a study carried out by Swiss Reinsurance in Barbados shows that investing $1 in a coral reef protection can help reduce losses from a cyclone by $20.
That's extraordinary.
We need to start communicating more of this information to the decision makers. And therefore, we keep overlooking or underestimating this critical role of nature, and we keep investing in built infrastructure.
Okay, and why is built infrastructure not enough?
Firstly, if you look at a floodgate or a seawall, technology and engineering has its limits. It has its thresholds. Whereas nature is buoyant, it's natural, it's flexible. So nature can deal with variety of disasters as well as different magnitudes and frequencies. And this is a very important consideration given climate change. Changing rain patterns are causing different flooding patterns. We are getting more stronger typhoons, bigger cyclones. So technology will have its limits in the face of climate change and the way disasters are changing. And nature could perhaps provide a complementary or an alternative solution. Secondly, built infrastructure may be an option for developed countries, but in developing countries, it's a huge investment that they may not be able to afford, but they could invest in nature, in the natural assets, as a way for protecting themselves.
And what's an example of nature as protection?
If you look at Japan, since the 14th century, Japan has been investing in coastal forests. The forests help protect them from salt intrusion, from windstorms, as well as from tsunamis. In 2011, when they had this large-scale devastating tsunami following the Great East Japan earthquake, there's much evidence that shows that the coastal forest was able to delay waves, it was able to dissipate some of the energy, and it provided people with something physical to hold on to, with which they were able to survive.
That's a very good example. And what can be done to scale up this process of using nature as protection against disasters?
First and foremost, I think we need to start trusting nature, that if hazards are natural, nature has its way of regulating itself, and we need to make sure we trust nature in its integrity to do just that. We also need to start looking at how our ecologists can start working with our engineers to look at creative, innovative solutions where natural infrastructure and built infrastructure can really complement each other. And thirdly, we need to really start communicating this role of nature so that it becomes part and parcel of an investment portfolio before a disaster happens. Following Hurricane Katrina, the US Congress approved $500 million to restore coastal forests along the New Orleans coast. But this came at a loss of $81 billion. And we need to start making such investments before a disaster happens. If there is a time to innovate, to adapt, to seek creative solutions in the face of disasters, it's now.
Radhika, thank you for these valuable insights. And thank you for watching. This is Laura Penn with Green Views, a talk show about green issues and green solutions, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. Until next time.